If you look at the current videos on this channel, you may realize I have a thing for learning and teaching new languages. If everything goes right, our future videos will also follow a similar path. Here, we do everything we can to think better, as it is our greatest strength among other living beings. Using our thinking ability better will always give us the upper hand. Since there are many ways and suggestions for thinking differently and increasing one's cognitive skills, I might as well share the results of my research and thoughts. Learn languages to learn thoughts. You heard me right. Learn languages to learn thoughts. In this video, by examining the benefits of bilingualism under 4 titles, we are going to observe the underlying general reasons for how knowing multiple languages can enhance our thinking. So, next time someone says, AI can translate just fine, you don't need to know another language, just look at them dead in the eye and reply, I don't want AI to think on my behalf, as that is the greatest treasure my soul has. Imagine trying to express a form of loneliness, but it is not like any other loneliness, not the one you feel as you sit all alone in a forest or when you are just recovering from a crying episode as you watch the empty room around you with dull eyes, but a form of loneliness so lonely that as if nothing outside is reachable or that you're aware of. It is as if you're as lonely as you were in your mother's womb. Now, how are you supposed to express that in English? How many words would it take? And more importantly, how many of us just woke up one day and thought, well, I'm as lonely as I was when I wasn't born? Well, the Germans did. I just described the meaning of Mütterseelen allein. Now that you know it, it makes sense. Perhaps many of you are already resonating with this word. On my behalf, this word is my favorite word in German. Upon hearing it, I began to question the levels of loneliness and just how lonely one can feel and actually end up. Now, imagine being a Turkish speaker and trying to express gratitude to someone working. You'd say kolay gelsin, a phrase that means may your work be easy on you, something English lacks entirely. Oh, by the way, we don't just say kolay gelsin to workers. Literally, anyone you see that happens to be working on something is suitable. It is very polite and lights up everyone's mood. And even I myself noticed some subtle changes in my work when people tell me kolay gelsin. Every language carries these unique gems, words and phrases so specific to a culture that they unlock entirely new ways of thinking. By learning them, you expand your ability to understand and articulate nuanced emotions and situations. Every new word you learn is like a key to a locked door in your mind, opening a room you never even knew existed. And wanna hear something cool? There is no end to how many doors you can unlock. When you think in English, your brain follows a specific path, a linear one. Subject, verb, object. I read books. It's straightforward and clear. But what happens when you introduce another language, say Turkish? Suddenly, the sentence becomes ben kitap okurum, where the verb okurum or I read comes at the end. The thought process shifts. Your brain begins to reorder ideas, holding on to the subject and object before the action is completed. It's like rewiring your mental pathways. Also, while it is correct to say ben kitap okurum, you don't actually have to use ben there when the verb already has the m suffix. Kitap okurum means the same thing. Remember, I do not claim there is any language that has a better thinking line, but instead it is best to acquire all lines and use them in unison, turning your brain into a machine that can track all roads and observe everything there is to see. Let's examine another example in Russian. Instead of saying I read, you might specify whether you are still reading or you have finished reading. This subtle but significant distinction forces your brain to zoom in on the state of an action, sharpening your awareness of time and completion. Each language introduces a new rhythm of thought, a different mental pathway. And when you learn multiple languages, your brain doesn't just stick to one road. It becomes a network of interconnected highways. Neurons fire differently as you switch between linguistic systems, making your brain not only more adaptable but also more creative. So, grammar isn't just about rules and structure. It is a way of shaping how we think, process, and interact with the world. By learning languages with vastly different grammatical systems, you give your brain a workout that opens new dimensions of thought, each one as unique as the language it belongs to. Think of your mind as a library. At first, it's hard to find your way through all the books, and you're constantly opening random drawers, searching for the right piece of information. But as you continue learning, something amazing happens. You start to build mental shortcuts. You no longer have to struggle to remember words or grammar rules. Instead, you're able to reach into your mental library and recall exactly what you need exactly when you need it. This is no ordinary talent. The improved version of this ability is what makes us capable of combining two distant notions to create a new perspective, perhaps something we haven't even seen before. Repetition and review makes it easier to retrieve information, forming pathways that become faster, more efficient, and stronger with time. This not only helps you recall languages, but trains your mind to work quicker and more fluidly in all areas of life. Learning languages also taps into a powerful cognitive tool, pattern recognition. As you memorize words and phrases, your brain starts to recognize linguistic patterns, similarities across languages and between structures. This mental patterning isn't just useful for learning more languages, it also enhances your ability to recognize patterns in math, art, science, and even social situations. In a way, language learning is like laying down a dense, interconnected web of information that grows and expands over time. The more you practice, the faster your brain can move across the web, making connections between seemingly unrelated ideas and concepts. And that's when real creativity happens, when your brain can connect dots, form new ideas, and solve problems with a level of fluidity and agility that wouldn't be possible without those countless hours spent mastering another language. When we speak only one language, the world often feels smaller than it truly is. We rely on translations, media portrayals, and second-hand accounts to understand other cultures. But these come with filters, biases, stereotypes, and often outright misinformation. Learning a new language is like putting a new pair of glasses. Suddenly, the blurry shapes of a culture snap into focus, and you begin to see the world as its people do. Take Russian, for example. You might have heard the stereotype that Russians are cold or distant or even evil. But when you dive into their language, you'll find words like dushvieni. I probably mispronounced it, but it means soulful, a warmth of character that connects deeply with others. Or Arabic, often misrepresented in Western media. The language is overflowing with poetic expressions like inshallah, if God wills it, that reflects a deep sense of hope and humility. Learning a language isn't just a skill, it's a bridge that connects you to the hearts and minds of people across the globe, dismantling walls of prejudice and replacing them with mutual understanding. Once you have crossed that bridge, you never see the world the same way again. Of course, these are superficial topics, and there are many other ways languages can contribute to our ability to think. Remember, everything that goes on in our brains impacts everything else. Everything is always connected. Thank you for watching.